Mr. President, may I ask the representatives of IATF and DOH to respond to my earlier question a while ago? If you recall, I had simply asked if we can get a commitment that they will be going to Cebu. And I'm not doing this because Governor Gwen Garcia is a friend. No, it's not that. It's just that I saw the protocols they had in place, and I think that it would be an opportunity to really study, kumbaga case study, and see what works so that we can prepare for the influx. Dadagsain tayo ng ating umuuwing mga kababayan by December. So can I get a response on that? It's not really a proposal, but that idea that I have na gawin na nilang test case itong Cebu. And I hope
Mr. President,
friends on the is with us, no, so that she can also hear it and she might have some comments.
yes, Your Honor, Mr. President.
Go ahead, Secretary.
We're still trying to get the experts schedule because they're practicing physicians as well. So we need to get a common schedule for them to join us when we do evaluate the systems in place in Cebu province. So we'll probably have until tonight to find out a common schedule among our experts. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Again, I know you know, no, that if there's anyone who is always listening to your point of view, listening to the health community, you know that's me. I can only speak for myself. I'm sure my other colleagues, a lot of other colleagues of mine who also support. But you know where I stand when it comes to scientifically based actions. So on that note lang, I want to get your thoughts, or I'd like to know if you can reassess the way the health team responds. Kasi nga it's been more than a year, and I know we want to be data driven, but don't you think that a lot of this data has to be seen with the eyes, with the ears, with our senses on the ground? Kasi we cannot just punch numbers, in the same way we cannot look at data in other countries and apply it to us because iba yung sitwasyon, di ba? We may not be able to apply rules that apply to NCR++ to Cebu, that is a separated island, and so on and so forth. So I guess what I'm leading at is, can we get your thoughts or your commitment, or you can disagree if that's how you feel, on really engaging the LGUs. I'm not talking about Cebu, I'm talking about anyone in general that has good practices, bad practice, and really learning from them to see what works. Because the data that Cebu presented, I'd like anyone to correct us if they're wrong. No, because here we are with all these protocols for the OFWs, and I'm glad Toots Ople is still with us. And yet, it appears that the transmission is very low, at least sa Cebu. I didn't see the others. So I know that the concern of DOH would be the variants, especially the new ones. But there are ways to contain this, and we need to be more proactive. So can I get a response on that, please?
Your Honor, Madam Senator, I agree with you. We always keep an open mind to see what possible best practices are being adopted by certain local government units. And I think the prudent thing to do is really to make an evaluation, a very objective assessment with the help, of course, of experts who have studied this for the longest time, and with credible track record with regard to, for example, on the issue of variants. No one can be more superior, I would assume, than the Philippine Genomic Center of the UP-NIH. We have Dr. Cynthia Saloma, who has been guiding us and advising the IATF with regard to the correct, appropriate protocol, quarantine protocols, to ensure that it will be very difficult for certain highly transmissible variants to enter the country. And so the objective of a very stringent border control and surveillance is really along the lines of ensuring we do not put at risk communities and families for a highly transmissible variant like the Indian or the Delta variant, where now we see in UK, it is the dominant variant among 42,000 cases over the last 2 or 3 weeks in my reading this morning. And so we do not, and that's despite UK having more than 50% of its population vaccinated. So the problem here is unlike in the past where we didn't have the serious threat of these variants, we could afford to have a bit more lax quarantine protocol. But under the circumstances, Madam President or Madam Senator, Mr. President, we really have to be extra cautious and we have to be very careful that we do not become an instrument for a transmission of these variants, and that might lead to an explosion of cases, especially this Indian variant is known to be 60 to 70% more transmissible compared to the B117, the UK variant, which then in December, it was already identified as about 60% more transmissible than the original COVID virus. So, nakakatakot lang po na ito kailangan na talagang magtiwala po tayo doon po sa ating mga experts na talagang wala pong ginawa kung hindi pag-aralan ito. At kami naman po ay pupunta sa Cebu at kausapin ang kanila pong mga uh, authorities, ang City Health Office, ang Provincial Health Office, at titignan po namin na hanggang sa barangay kung yung mga sinasabi nila na talagang mahigpitan na monitoring ng mga pinauwi na mga OFW sa kanila pong mga pamilya o komunidad, ay makikita po naman natin lahat ito. So, humingi lang po ako ng tamang panahon para makakuha ng common schedule with our experts. Kasi kung ako lang po pupunta, eh wala naman po akong kakayahan na makapagbigay ng payo o mag-isip ng ano bang pagbabago, tatanggapin ko ba ang kanilang quarantine protocol. Kasi kung sinasabi nila na ito po ang dahilan kung bakit bumagsak ang kanilang mga kaso, nung nag-search sila ng January, February at bumabayan, eh pwede rin naman po natin sabihin din yan sa ngayon. Sa NCR, napababa din po natin ang kaso from a weekly average of 7,000 cases in NCR alone. This is now less than 1,000. So by the same token, we can also invoke that our current quarantine protocol works. So, and of course, this is not just a single intervention that could explain the drop, the significant reduction in the number of COVID cases, because as we have always underscored, we have a broad front approach covering the area of prevention, aggressive early detection, aggressive isolation and quarantine, testing, and improved clinical management of severe to critical COVID cases, thus reducing the case fatality rate. Ano po. So, ang Cebu naman po, alam naman namin, I'll be the first one to say, it has best practices no, in terms of contact tracing, emergency response, and isolation in the barangay. I think that's what they've been trying to point out. No? But we have an open mind. We would like to make that assessment, but it would be best if we have the experts to join us in the trip to Cebu. But that trip is going to happen. Thank you, Mr. President.
Noted on that, and thank you, Secretary. I think it's a given naman that you should bring your experts with you. I'm just saying that can we do this sooner than later? Because it's not because request ng Cebu, it's because it's a to me, and you can find other areas that you can test, compare what one province is doing versus another province, so that we can really find the best practices. And especially now where we've diverted flights, parang I just feel bad for the OFWs, no? Because parang contrary to how we treat them na there are heroes, and then here they are, they spent double the going rate to go home, and then they get diverted to another part of the country. It's just mind-boggling that that this is happening when there are other ways that we could probably explore instead of going this route. And on that note, may I ask Tuts Ople if she has any further comments on this, no? Like the flight diversions, what other things do you think we have left? What other stones have we left unturned compared to what we're doing? Flight diversion, putting them in a hotel, and I don't know if anyone pointed it out, but well, I know Governor Gwen had, but I have not heard the critique of Cebu, the critique on Cebu's protocol by DOH, that they are actually testing them on the first day and on the seventh day. Kasi I heard explanations that hindi pwedeng on the first day lang kasi you don't know how long that we've gone through this for the past year. We all know that it could be harboring there and it's not coming out till the second, the third, or the fourth day. But the reality is they could have gotten exposed 12 days before, so their first day of arrival in the Philippines is their 13th day. So in the case of Cebu, they're testing on the first day and they're testing on the seventh day. So they catch them on two different time frames. So I'm still a little bit confused that that policy is not given that policy isn't appreciated. Kasi the way I heard it critiqued was that hindi pa pwedeng on the first day lang. Eh meron nga din silang on the seventh day. Tapos meron silang bantay sa LGU. So I'm saying that, but if I may ask that Tuts Ople be recognized if she has anything lang to add.
Yes.
Go ahead,
Sir Chair.
Tuts.
Yes, I can only add and share the sentiments of our OFWs. They feel that yung automatic response has always been border control. Hindi naman po nakikita nila na nagtaas ng contact tracing, tumataas yung testing. Ang nararamdaman lang nila yung border control and na hindi sila makauwi, and kung yung mga ibang nakakauwi naman, dahil puno na po yung mga hotel sa Metro Manila, they are being housed in Clark, in Laguna, in Batangas. And yung point lang po namin is we really respect our medical experts. We're not against yung pag-prevent ng ng doom via the Delta variant. No, this is not about we agree with doom prevention, but please be spreaders of hope din, kasi kawawa yung mga OFWs po, ang feeling nila they're being discriminated din dahil bakit sila hindi they are entitled to come home and they are entitled to time spent with family. So, and if you want to prevent, then work with them. Don't just dictate. Consult us. Please consult us. Kasi, and talk to our OFWs because they are exposed to the health protocols of the host governments. You can even learn from them. Pero nangyayari po kasi bigla na lang, may ban sa Saudi. Yung mga papaalis, yung mga pauwi, biglang magugulat na lang yung foreign employers. Ano ba yan? Parang sorry to say po, pero may pagka-parochial din We agree with all these health protocols, but let's not lose our competitive spirit along the way and also our sense of compassion. There has to be a way to harmonize all these things. Yun lang po yung sa amin.
Can I get clarification from IATF, because this also came from Ms. Ople. She said that she mentioned that foreign investors have a different quarantine requirement and different from the OFW. So I was saying I'm not sure kung is that just a policy, is that just being proposed or final na yon. So can somebody reply? Because Ms. Ople said foreign investors 7 days lang ang quarantine, and what we're following now for the OFWs is longer than that. So may discrimination na tayong ganyan. Secretary Duque, can you respond, or somebody from your team?
Can I respond, Mr. President, Your Honor? Good, good. Sir, actually, sir, yung binigyan ng exemption ng IATF are highly technical people. Basically, mga nasa power at saka sa ibang ano po yun, na pagka once hindi po natin nilaw, may possibility, sir, na either yung ating mga projects sa BBB, at the same time, yung mga $500 million or ibang mga investment, hindi po makadating po sa atin. So yung basically yung pinapayagan lang natin a very limited number, highly exceptional, technical, at saka yung high profile in terms of business investment. Yun lang po, konti lang po yun. Actually, mabibilang po natin sa kamay po natin.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. But I guess then the question we should ask ourselves is, can we not expedite the bilateral agreements with the countries where we have a lot of OFWs para sa lalong madaling panahon, ma-certify na natin yung validity ng vaccination certificate or passport nila para ano na rin, okay na rin. Kasi otherwise, how long are we waiting, di ba? Parang, I'd hate that a month from now we'll still have this hearing and wala pa rin tayong movement, because for every day that we don't resolve it, these are families that are affected. Yes, I know national significance itong technical experts, but then the individual lives of these people are also affected. So I also express my desire to see a more a faster resolution to this issue, because you just have to have get our consuls to start working and validate these vaccination certificates, and we're good to go. If it will be recalled, I was the proponent of a vaccine passport. I knew it was going to happen anyway, and here we are. The statement that we also got earlier from, I don't know who in the government panel, said that sorry, it was Senator Joel who posted the EO on the requirement that the vaccine cards needs to be validated by DOH and DICT. I know for a fact, having spoken to my brother who is mayor of Taguig City and also having heard the pronouncement of Mayor Isko Moreno of Manila, that the cities are ready. One call and they can tell you who is vaccinated, what is his address, his contact number, 1 or 2 vaccinations, and when is the second dose due. They can tell you that. So it's really on the national government to decide what they want to do with this information, because that information is available. The question pa nga is, since DOH handled the vaccination in tertiary hospitals, do you have that database? Because the cities, I know they have, but does DOH have the database of the tertiary hospitals? I hope you do, because at the end of the day, this is what we'll need to be moving around. And unfortunately, well, we have a how do I put it, a toned down version of it in Bayanihan too. But all over the world, that's what we're talking about, vaccination passports. So we really need to get on with this.
Yeah. Your Honor, can I answer?
Yes.
Ma'am, actually, ma'am, we empathize with the predicament of our OFW. Actually, one night, the ambassador of the EUA called me up, considering the flight of the different OFW going back to the Philippines. Actually, 2 o'clock, nagtawagan po kami ni Yusek Dodo Dulay pertaining the predicaments, and we agreed that we will discuss this to the technical working group. The possibility that those vaccinated OFW, which can be validated by two tranches, by the consul and the airline business, that they can be validated. So yun po ang inano po namin na to expedite yung policy sa IATF. That's why when we are talking at 2 o'clock in the morning, we really empathize and we really see to it that magkaroon po ng immediate resolution sa technical working group pertaining yung mga OFWs and also the vaccination card coming from abroad. Yun po ang po namin. We will make sure that we will expedite this, Madam Senator.
Thank you, Secretary Galvez. And alam ko naman pag sinabi nyo nangyayari. So, salamat.